Hello everyone, this video is for Module 14. Module 14 is the first of two modules that will cover revision. And so this last assignment for the class will be to revise one of the essays that you've already written. So we have moved beyond writing something new and we're then looking at something that you have already written. So the process here will be to go through 3 steps. And those 3 steps will be spread out over Module 14 and then Module 15 when you will submit the new final draft of your essay. So I'm going to go over Module 14 here, and you have 2 assignments that you're going to complete. We're done with the quizzes for the moment, so your last quiz will actually show up as part of the final in Module 16. And so for this unit, the only 2 things that you're doing are a peer edit and a writing center submission. Really important though is that you get started on this module early. And I've got these due dates in here because you have to submit your peer edit draft by Tuesday, April 26th, and you have to submit to the Writing Center by Wednesday, April 27th. The Writing Center deadline is the Writing Center's deadline. It's not the course deadline because they need at least 48 business hours to respond to you. The peer edit deadline is because Canvas will automatically generate your peer edit. So if you haven't submitted a file, then you won't get assigned a peer edit. And I have to do it earlier in the module so that you have plenty of time to actually do the peer edits themselves. The good news is that you are not writing anything new for this assignment, which means you already have the file that you can just pull up and submit to both of these assignments right away. And so keep that in mind. You don't need to really do anything other than submit them to these 2 places. Once you've submitted them, then you can go back and start on that feedback. So the first thing you have to do is decide whether you want to revise your process essay or your cause and effect essay. The process essay, obviously, we wrote a while ago, and so for some of you that might just be easier to get that draft. Maybe you're turning in the cause and effect late or something like that, and so it might just be easier for you. The cause and effect draft might be a little bit better to revise because it will give you a little bit more to actually revise about your writing. The process essay is a little bit more simple. Cause and effect essay is a little bit more complex. So just kind of keep that in mind. For the cause and effect essay, you will be looking at peer feedback, writing lab feedback, and also instructor feedback. And so you will have to wait until I grade the essay, which hopefully won't take too long, in order to finish up in the next module. So for right now, just kind of pick which one you would rather look at again. And so that will be the first step. So once you decide whether you want to use the process or the cause and effect essay, then you will submit to the revised essay peer edit. So you'll just hit start assignment and you will submit that file. So this is the final draft file that you just submitted for a grade earlier in the class. So if it was the cause and effect, it would have been last module. If it was process, it would have been several modules ago. You have to do this by Tuesday, April 26th. Like I said, Canvas automatically generates these peer edits. And so at 11:59 p.m. on Tuesday, April 26th, it will take everyone whose draft has been submitted and it will assign everyone 2 drafts from the ones that have been submitted. So the reason we use the automatically generated peer edit is because that way you won't get assigned a peer who hasn't submitted anything. And so then you can, as soon as that is automatically generated, you can start working on those peer edits, and you don't have to wait for the rest of the week for the peer you've been assigned to actually submit something. So if you don't get your draft submitted, though, you won't get a peer editor, and you won't be able to do a peer edit, which means you won't get any points for the assignment. So make sure that you are paying attention to that deadline. So we're using the Canvas peer edit tools. If you get stuck, follow this guide because it's really helpful. You'll go into the assignment, and then after the due date, that Tuesday, April 26th, you'll see your assigned peer reviews underneath your submission details on the right-hand side. And you can select the person. It's not anonymous, so you'll be able to see their names. You'll select it, and then you'll see this screen with their file and then the words view feedback. when you click on view feedback, you'll get this little box that will show up. And if you expand the box using this box expansion tool, then you'll see it full screen and you'll be able to use all of these little editing tools that your instructor uses. So this one gives you like those little bubble comments, and then there's a highlighter, there's a strikeout, this little paintbrush thing you can draw with. And so you've got all of these editing tools that you can use, all these different colors that you can use. So it's really cool, and I think makes it so much easier to do a peer review rather than doing it like on a discussion board or something. This allows you to actually give specific feedback. So you have to give at least 10 annotated comments. So you'll have at least 10 things when you click on it. You'll see the bubble, it will appear, it'll look just like instructor comments, but your name will be on it and it will show up on the side as you go down their paper. Now, because you're being assigned 2 peer reviews, you may actually see comments from another student when you go in to do this, and that's fine. You'll just have to find different things to comment on. And you can leave positive feedback and feedback, critical feedback. So feedback for improvement. The feedback for improvement is more important, but you can also point out sentences that you really like too. So those count towards your annotations as long as not all of your annotations are positive. We need some things for them to change. You also have a rubric that you'll fill out. And the rubric, you can see it gives you an idea of where to find the rubric. It will show up kind of on the screen like this. Your rubric looks different. It looks like this. It'll show up, it'll look different when you actually do it for your peer, but the basic concept is here. You're looking at these categories here on the side, 1, 2, 3, there's 5 categories. And basically you decide, does it need improvement or does it have no issues? And if it needs improvement, then you want to fill out the box. So add in their comments. There should be at least one of these things that needs improvement, if not more than one. And so it kind of, I give you a little bit of a description of what it looks like if it has no issues. And then if it needs to be improved, then you would put some information here. The writing in particular, that everybody's going to need improvement for writing. But most of these categories, you'll probably have some comments for. You won't be able to see the rubric from another student. So the rubric will be all your own feedback for your peer. The one thing to remember is that these rubrics, when you fill them out, if you hit submit and you're not done with it yet, then you can't go back in and edit it. So if you've hit submit and you still haven't filled all the bubbles out or all the criteria out, then you'll have to just leave a comment. You can put it just in that general comment box, and that way that your peer can get all of your feedback. So you'll do this for 2 students. Right? So that's the first assignment. The next assignment is to access the online writing lab. I have a link to the academic support page for Alan if you want to look at it. It's got some really good stuff here. If you've never seen this page, you may want to go to it. And then I have the assignment for the Writing Center submission. This has to be done by Wednesday, April 27th, because if you don't, they won't have time to get a response back to you. I would do it earlier if you can. So if you can submit your draft, on Monday or even the Sunday before, that would give them plenty of time to respond to you. They only work during the week during business hours, so you have to make sure they have at least 48 business hours to review and respond. They'll send back to you, so you fill out the form. This is what the form looks like. You have your name and your email address. This is where you want them to email it back to you. So you'll put in your email address that you want to get the response to, which means it has to be an email you actually check. There's a bunch of questions over here on the side that asks just different things about the assignment. It's really helpful if you can fill out most of them because it gives them an idea of what to respond to and you get more specific feedback. And then you have to choose your file. So this would be submitting the file of your essay, and make sure that you have it in a doc form or a rich text format so that they can actually open it. And then you'll submit the file down, or submit the form all the way down here at the bottom. The other thing that you can do is if you're having trouble with the submission, you can always email Bruce Symes, who's our Writing Center directly if you want to. But it's better to fill out the form, I think, just to get more specific feedback. So you check within 2 days, you should get a response, and then once you get the response, you'll open up your email and you need to download the file out of your email so that those comments are visible, because they will use Word commenting tools. And so you'll see the little annotated comments on the side, and then you'll hit Start Assignment and you'll upload that file here. So this assignment right here, when you click on Start Assignment, that is to submit the feedback that they send to you. It's not to send it to the writing lab. You have to use the form to send it to the writing lab, or you have to email it directly to him. And if you hit Start Assignment and you just submit your file, that just sits there. That doesn't go anywhere. So make sure that you're using the form or the email in order to submit to the Writing Center. When they email you back, then that's when you will hit Start Assignment and you will submit a file. So those are the two things. That's all you're doing in this module is submitting a file to the writing lab, submitting a file to the peer edit, and then actually doing your 2 peer edits. You're not making any changes yet to your essay. You're just gathering feedback in this module. So hopefully everything makes sense. If you get lost or confused, make sure that you email me. Don't wait. This is one of those modules where you really have to get stuff done at the beginning of the week. Otherwise, you just won't have enough time to finish them and get those points for them. So hopefully you're doing well. If you need anything, let me know.